Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada.
Mukam karti vachadam karnamanya tekirim yakitam tamamande sikrim kitam Avyana dinandasya gyananjana shikaya Chakshumilitam yana tasmai shikruve namaha. The topic today is my experiences with Srila Prabhupada. Yes, from the time I joined until today. And so you will hear some things about when Srila Prabhupada was here, and you will hear some things about after Srila Prabhupada left and my experiences with him after he left also. So it all began in 1970 in Boston, and I was going guru shopping. There were many gurus in Boston in 1970, and I was trying different ones. And one of them told me, you meditate 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes at night. And after 6 months, you will become God. And between the meditation, you could do whatever you like, because you're God, of course. So it didn't work. So then I went to the devotees first time. So I asked them, what is your process? And they said, you chant, you dance, you eat. I said, okay, sure. If I chant, dance, and eat, what can I hope to happen? What will happen? happen if I chant dance and eat? And they said, you will see God. So I said, yes. I don't want to be God. I want to see God. So yes, that was, so then I started chanting, and after about 2 weeks, we visited the temple at midnight, and everybody was up awake, chanting. They're finishing their rounds. Or maybe they were starting their rounds, I don't know. It was midnight. And then it was like buzzing, chanting. And there was Pradyumna, who is the Sanskrit scholar. He was raiding the refrigerator. And there was it was very alive at midnight. And so we thought, oh, let's stay here overnight. So we asked the temple president, Satsrup. He took one look at us and said, no. So we weren't ready yet to join.
Who is the temple president?
Satsrup Maharaj. Yeah, he was a grihasta then.
You were there with some friend or by yourself?
Pardon me? My husband.
Your husband?
I was with my husband. Mm-hmm. And so then, who was in that temple? I can tell you. The president was Satsrup Maharaj. Temple commander was Hridananda Maharaj. Harinam leader was Giriraj Maharaj. So he was our Harinam leader. We go in Harinam all day. And the whole press was there. All the artists and the Sanskrit scholar, they were all there. And many beautiful Kirtaniyas, Bhardaraj, and others were there. And they would have dramas every Sunday. No, it was very hard not to join this temple. But of course, it took me a while, basically about 5 months, because my husband was not so keen on becoming a devotee as I was. He would come to the temple with me for Sunday feast, and he would feel the transcendence, but the philosophy was, he couldn't, he had to be convinced philosophically also. And so yes, then one weekend came, devotee said, stay for the weekend, Prabhupada's coming. I said, okay. I stayed. Prabhupada didn't come, but he sent 4 sannyasis. One of the sannyasis was Vishnu Jan Maharaj and Brahmananda Gargamuni and Subha. And we were out at Harinam all day and night on the weekend. And after that, I thought to myself, I'm so happy. Why should I go back home? I went and said goodbye to my husband, and I joined the temple. Well, he joined 2 months later, because he was a hippie, and his philosophy was, I won't work. Now, I was working a little. He had some money. After I joined, he had no money left. And so he had to join, because devotees, they didn't work. All we did was sing and dance the whole day in the streets. So that went with his philosophy of the hippies. I won't work. So it was very nice, and so we were out 10 hours a day singing and dancing, and we were happy. Very happy. The holy name was just making us feel so ecstatic by association, 10 hours a day. And even more than 10 hours we were chanting, because we would come back to the temple for evening program, then we would go back out to 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night. And so, because we didn't have to go to Mangal Arti those days, we'd get up at 6 o'clock. That's why everybody was up at midnight when I visited the temple. It was wonderful. And I asked a question to Pradyumna. We were very, we thought we were really pure devotees, and we were transcendental. And so there's a progression of on the path of devotional service, Shraddha, faith. Then you associate with devotees, you become initiated, follow the rules. You go through an arta nivriti, or cleaning of all the doubts. Then you become steady, nishta. And then after nishta comes ruchi, or taste. It's a very high stage. And after ruchi comes asakti, or absorption and Krishna. And after absorption comes, what comes after absorption?
Baba.
Love of Baba. Wow, ecstasy. So someone was explaining that to me early days. Oh wow, Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you, Prabhupada. So someone was explaining, Pradumna, Sanskrit scholar, is telling you, oh, there's these 9 levels. So I asked him, what level are you on? And he said, Ruchi. I'm on taste. We all felt like that. We were on Ruchi because we really had a taste for chanting. Even when prasadam was late, what will we do? We didn't have cell phones. So that was not a distraction. We didn't have anything like that, computer cell phones. So we would just sing and dance while we were waiting for our prasadam. 10 hours wasn't enough. We had to keep on doing it all day long. And so we were happy. Then and so I was working on the press also. As I mentioned, I had to learn to read Sanskrit immediately because the next day I had to transliterate Gita verses into Sanskrit while I was typing. And they gave me Ishopanishad, looked in the back. They showed me the back. Okay, now you learn, this is the Sanskrit letters, you put it into English. So I learned it. And the next day I was typing Sanskrit to English. Was our training in those days. And then so after 6 months, our leader, Satrup, said, I'm sending you to Florida. So Boston is north, Florida is south. It's pretty far, maybe a 3-hour plane ride, maybe more, I don't know. But he wasn't going to send us by plane. He wasn't going to send us by train or bus. But how did he send us? Put us on the road. We had to hitchhike. That was devotee transportation in those days. You have to hitchhike. So there we were on the streets. We didn't have saris or dhotis. In those days, sheets. If you were married, you had yellow sheets. And if you were a brahmachari also, you had saffron sheets. Both the girls and boys wore saffron, and the married couples wore yellow sheets. We didn't have kurtas or dhotis or saris. And so here we are in the streets in the 1970 in our yellow sheets. 1971 it was, 1971. We didn't have suitcases, we had a box with our things in the box. Who's going to pick us up, you know? But it was the hippie days, so we did get a ride to New York. In New York, they were very compassionate. They let us collect for a bus ticket, and we did go to Florida in the bus. So then we were in Florida that's where I first met Srila Prabhupada. He was, I forgot to tell you that the weekend Prabhupada was supposed to come, and he didn't come. At least 4 or 5 of us never went home that weekend. And it was, I felt like Prabhupada pushed us, because we weren't really ready. But Prabhupada, just by saying he's coming, it was enough to make us join the temple. Because if you live outside in those days, you were considered to be in Maya. You live outside, congregation, there was no congregational members. If you're outside, you're in Maya. You're not a devotee. So you had to join the temple, give up all your possessions, give them to the temple, and joined. And Grihastas, and people ask me sometimes, how could you get initiated in 6 months so quickly? I said, yeah, well, you just leave your house, sell your car, give up everything, and join the temple, and do seva, 24 hours a day. You can get in 6 months too. Who's going to do that?
What year was it?
1970, 71. Actually in the 70s. Basically all of the 70s. But we joined in 70, 71. 70 we joined, and that was the year.
And at the same time, it was rough times with the Vietnam War going on.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. The devotees were exempt.
maybe it was not so hard to just give it up.
Yeah, we didn't have much to give up, it's true. But some of us had, Ambarish, he had the whole, and he didn't give it up, he used it for Krishna. In the beginning we thought, no, you just have to give it all up, but then these rich people started joining in, and they used it for Krishna, and he's still using it. He's matching whatever somebody donates, he matches to the TOPP. He matches, he's been matching whatever people.
Not average, but nice.
Huh? Well, the first few years he did that, and then now for Nishinga he did that. For the Nishinga wing, he also matched. So in between, I don't know, but he's still giving, even he's not matching. He's still giving his donations, and he did match for beginning years. I remember he was matching. Whatever you give, he matched. Yeah. So Emery, she's Alfred Ford's grandson or great grandson. So okay. So we went to Florida, and that's when I first met Prabhupada in Gainesville. At the airport, he was walking, I was walking behind him, and I felt this is where I belong. And my whole life, as a child, young person, I never felt I belonged in America. When I was 10 years old, I was in my classroom, I was looking at the kids, I said, I'm not one of them. I don't know where I'm from. Maybe I'm from another country. Maybe I'm from another planet. But one thing I know is I'm not American, I'm not one of them. And so that was very clear, and I didn't belong there, I didn't belong in the Girl Scouts. The forest was a little bit nice for me, I liked the forest, but the Girl Scout camp, no. And I didn't belong in school, they told me, now you're in high school, here's all the careers, you should choose one. I said, I don't want any of these careers. So I chose to be a musician, which wasn't one of them. And so then we were in Florida for 6 months, and after a few, maybe 3-4 months, they sent my husband and I out to start a new temple in Jacksonville. No money, we just go and make a temple. Florida. Yeah, Jacksonville, Florida. And so we went. And we tried, but we weren't successful. And so after a year in Florida, we went to Dallas for basically 1 month. After 1 month, Srila Prabhupada asked for 50 devotees should come to India. So every temple had to choose some devotees to go to India. So we were chosen, my husband and I, to go to India. So again, Satsuru Maharaj told us, I'm sending you to India. We thought, oh my God, how are we going to hitchhike or what? So he did put us on the road, and I think we hitchhiked to New York. And then New York again allowed us to collect. We got one-way tickets because Prabhupada told us to go. He didn't tell us to go back. So 50 were, Prabhupada asked for 50, 25 went, and only 5 stayed out of those 25. That was the second or third wave. The first wave was in 71. We came in 72. And again, I was telling the story. We landed in Bombay, great austerities. The deities were in a tent, and the men were in a hut, and the ladies were on the roof of a building, and it was summer. We were all in our mosquito nets. Saradia was up there painting pictures. Vishaka was writing BTG articles. And there was one really big lady, and she was freaking out in her small mosquito net. It was too small for her. And the mosquitoes were biting. So anyway, there we were up in the net on the roof of a building. And it was, after 2 weeks we were sent to Calcutta. Calcutta, I was very happy because I got a roof over my head, at least. And but no water and no electricity, but that wasn't so bad. We had a big bathtub, and we would turn on the water. It was on the whole day, and we would get this much in the bathtub. And as a pujari, you need to take a lot of baths in a day. So, 1 cup. 1 cup is a bath, 2 cups if you wash your hair. So it was we really had to take care of the water and regulate it. The men would go and bathe, and there was a pond, not so clean pond across the street. And that was the men's bathing place. But it was austere, but we were happy. I was happy serving Radha Govinda, And people were saying, how can you stay in Calcutta? I said, I'm not in Calcutta. I'm with Krishna. Because I had 20 hours seva, 4 hours sleep. And I was always with Krishna, and I had to protect him. There were no these doors, there were no guards to protect the deities, and people would come. So I had to be always with Radha Govinda the whole day. And that was nice. It was very nice. So I was happy there. And then, so I met Prabhupada many times in Calcutta. He would always stop in Calcutta on his way to Mayapur, and on his way from Mayapur, stop in Calcutta. One thing just came to my mind that 1973 he was very sick in Calcutta. They told me, don't blow the conch shell for Mangalarti, and he's sick. So I didn't, and he was sick for a few days with fever, dysentery, and then he was getting telegrams from different temples, come here, come there. He got one from London, come to Rath Yatra. And he went in that very sick state, and he was dancing the whole way. His servant was behind him saying, he can fall down at any minute. I have to be here to catch him. Because he was so sick, and all of a sudden he's dancing in Rath Yatra, for I don't know how many kilometers. And he was leading, the police were upset with him. Tell him to stop. He's disrupting everything, the whole traffic. Please tell him. And then the one devotee tried, Prabhupada, the police are upset. Prabhupada just turned and started dancing more. He didn't pay attention. And then the police, they told the police, no, we can't stop him. And so the police were okay, they were pacified. And and they had this huge Rath Yatra. So another time, I told about Mangalarti. Those of you who weren't there at the Amarendra's program, it was Mangalarti time. I was doing Mangalarti. I turned around to offer the ghee lamp to devotees, and Prabhupada was there right behind me. Oh. So, he was there. And I thought, should I offer him arti or should I just give him the ghee lamp? So I think I did it really fast and then give him the ghee lamp. And whole Mangalarti, he was standing right behind me, maybe 6 inches away. Because there was no distance between the temple. There was just like a chain. And I was there, and he was there. And I was very nervous, I was very focused. And after that, I thought, okay, I should do all my service like that. The Prabhupada is standing right behind, watching me. And so then, another time we had 2 altars. One is Jagannath, and the other side was Gaur, Radha Krishna, Radha Govinda. And so, behind the deities was an open window, and through that window came many, many living entities. Sometimes bats would come and fly around the ceiling. Birds would come, and but bees were also coming. Bees. On Radha Govinda's side, there were bumblebees, and they would sit inside these. We had these huge lotus flowers, like your face, that big, and 144 every day, fresh. 144 roses every day, fresh, and then plus many others, plus 50 garlands every day donated by one life member. And those 50 garlands were rose, mokara, jasmine, 4 kind of champa. Now here we have one kind here. I don't see champa in Sweden, but in Hawaii they have white and they have red, like these flowers, like very fragrant. And they have 2 more kinds in Calcutta. They're just like this, very, very fragrant. And one, there's a light yellow and there's a dark golden color. So they said the dark golden color is the color of Radharani, and the light yellow color is the color of Lord Chaitanya. So we had these 2 kinds of champa flowers. So the bumblebees were coming on Radha Govinda's side. They would circumambulate and then go in the lotus flower. And on Jagannath's side were small, small bees sitting on the garlands. And that was like descriptions a Vaikuntha where the bees are sitting on the garlands. And I was reading that third canto that time. I said, oh, yes, we have Vaikuntha one side, go look other side. Prabhupada commented that if the bees are coming to the worship, that means Krishna is pleased with the worship. So we have those bees coming every day. Every day. So then one time, so Prabhupada would chastise us and he would praise us. So one time we always had these ghee lamps burning, like tall ones, like you don't have here, like 4 feet tall, and always burning because electricity could go off any time. So we had to have lights in the deity room. And so one time I caught on fire, actually. I didn't know. I just looked behind. I saw this big flame coming. I said, oh, and I just ripped my sari off. I was okay. It was behind closed doors in the deity room because we had to dress the deities by candlelight often. We had to dress them. And that took, it was not so easy by candles, so you don't get on fire. So then, the Prabhupada, one time he looked at the ghee lamps. He said, why are the ghee lamps so dirty? Who has done this? And then, we're the pujaris. We have to get up there and we get chastised, and it's really hard when Prabhupada's angry. And you just want to disappear in the floor, but you can't. There's no holes. And but other times he would praise us. Every lecture he would give, he would mention the deities, basically, in Calcutta. He said, thank you. He would appreciate. He said, this deity worship is under the direction of Srimati Radharani. She's in control here. She's in charge. So then, one time it was Darshanarti, and Prabhupada was there, and he came, and we opened the doors, and that morning, people had given me many more garlands. So I put them all over the altar. It was like a flower house, basically. So Srila Prabhupada came, and he was very pleased, and he called us up, my husband and I, we were the pujaris. He called us up to his vyasasam. He was surrounded by many sannyasis, maybe 8-10 sannyasis. And then he said, thank you very much for dressing Madhava. He said Madhava instead of Govinda, so nicely. We were offering obeisances. And and then afterwards, one sannyasi told us, did you hear what Srila Prabhupada said when you were bowing down? And we said, no. And Prabhupada said, be blessed. So we were blessed, and we felt blessed. But then the next day, I said, okay, yesterday we got the blessing. You get the blessing of the Guru. You can retire. No, we're in our 20s. You don't retire when you're 20-something, 25, 26. And so the next day I thought, okay, today we have to earn the blessings again. Every day you have to keep earning. So then I told this story in that Amaranta's house again about when Prabhupada, I was typing for Prabhupada just some Srimad Bhagavatam, and Prabhupada was going to Mayapur. He wanted to translate Chaitanya Charitamrita. Pradumna knew me from Boston, so he said, Prabhupada wants to do Chaitanya Charitamrita. He needs a typist. So if you can learn Bengali today, you learn how to read, you can come with us tomorrow. I said, no problem. Because Prabhupada said, impossible is a word in a fool's dictionary. So I got the book. I learned to read in a couple hours, and off I was the next day with the Srila Prabhupada going to Mayapur. In Mayapur, again, another austerity. There were bathrooms, but there were no pipes in the bathrooms, so we couldn't use the bathrooms. We were just showering out on the veranda, and there was some kind of outhouse in the field, but the ladies, before Mangalarti, it's so dark, we're not going to go some distance out there. So anyway, we figured out something. And ladies' ashram was in a room that had no door. And we had to go through another room that had a door, but that room had no floor. and we were on the first floor. And so we had the plank, we had to walk across to get to the door, and hopefully we wouldn't fall. Mangalarti time, you know, you're half asleep, and you're gonna walk this plank, and then out on the veranda we have a little, there's a pump, we had to pump the water, bring it upstairs and have our shower. So anyway, yeah, those were the good old days, and there were no windows, and the doors had no handles. It was under construction. The building was under construction, and we were living, Prabhupada was living in it too. We were all living in this Lotus building, which was under construction. So I was there in one room typing, and I had this manual typewriter, which you probably have never seen in your lives. No, it's not connected to electricity, because electricity was going out there too. So it wouldn't work with electric typewriter. So it's like you have these keys. It's hard to push. It's not like on the computer. No, but you really have to push, and you get to the end of the line and back you go. What is it called? No, no, I mean that's when you push it back. I forgot the name.
Rewind?
Huh?
Rewind?
No, not rewind. When you finish the line and then back you go.
I had one when I was in school.
Yeah, not that kind. I mean the electric. I mean nowadays there's a name for that. I can't. The key. There's a key. You just press it. Goes back. Anyway. Yeah. Enter. Yeah, I think it's enter. Enter is the word. Then enter and it just goes back. You don't even have to push it. So yeah, we had that. And if you make a mistake, you have this whiteout paint. You paint over the thing. You have to make it dry, and then you can retype the letter. And that was the old days. So there I was with my typewriter. I had the headphones on, listening to Srila Prabhupada dictate, and I had this big Bengali whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, one book, whole Chaitanya Charitamrita, and I was reading. I would hear Prabhupada say Bengali. I would read the Bengali, and I would type into English letters, transliterate. And that's what I learned the day before. You have the Bengali letters, you have the English. So I was learning that. And so Prabhupada, he was impressed. He said, "Oh, you know Bengali?" I said, "Yes, Srila Prabhupada." I did not know Bengali. I could read. I did learn, after being in Calcutta for some years, I did learn to speak Bengali, because the servants who were helping us in the temple, they didn't speak English, so you had to speak to them in Bengali. But then he called me to his room. He said, "So, I want you to learn how to type Bengali typewriter, and we will do many books together." So that never happened. I thought, I'll get to travel, but no, I had to go back to Calcutta to be head pujari, because all the pujaris ran away because they got a new temple president, Gargamuni, and they were all scared of him. So they ran away. I had to go and be the head pujari in Calcutta. But that was nice. So then, and then it was like a prophecy. I wrote many books, like 20, and I felt like that was Prabhupada with me, inspiring to write those books. So we did many books together. It happened 30 years later. I started. And then the same thing in Vrindavan. He was giving darshan in his rooms at Radha Damodar. After Nectar of Devotion, we had Nectar of Devotion classes in Kartik 72. And he was sitting on his little asan, and we were on the floor. And one time he had some bananas at his feet, and a monkey ran in and grabbed the bananas and ran out the door. And then Prabhupada said, "See how intelligent this monkey is? None of you would dare to do that." He said, "But don't be intelligent like the monkey. Don't have that kind of intelligence." So then, one time he said to me personally, "My sister tells me that you speak Srimad Bhagavatam very nicely." So then I was puzzled because I never spoke Bhagavatam. And then I remembered on Janmashtami Day, 72, it was a tradition in our temple from morning till night, we had to take turns reading Krishna book. That we had to do on Janmashtami. Well, my turn came, and I was reading Raslila, and Prabhupada's sister was sitting in front of me. She didn't know a word of English, and I was reading in English, but she was crying, and then she said, Prabhupada, she speaks Bhagavatam very nicely. So that was my beginning of my career. 30 years later it happened that I started teaching Bhagavatam in Vrindavan, Bhakti Vaibhav Bhaktivedanta courses. So it was another prophecy, I feel. If a pure devotee says something must happen, so that happened in my life. So then that was while Prabhupada was here. And after Prabhupada left, it was like 1994, and I was in Vrindavan, and my son was in Gurukul. It was the first time in my life that I was really alone. My husband had left the previous year and got married again to somebody else. So then it was just myself and my son. He was 6 years old, 7 when he went to Gurukul, 7 years old. 1 year I was trying to homeschool him, and then in 94 he went to Gurukul, and then I was like praying for a service because I took care of my son for 7 years. That was my service basically. And then I was praying, what is my next service? So that I didn't know, and so I did a japa reform where I was trying to chant very attentively, and it happened, and I got inspiration from Krishna. What will be my next service is to teach. I was reading the books like 20 times, at least by that time. And then I got the inspiration, what you have read, you should share with others. So, but I wanted more confirmation. And so I went to Prabhupada's house looking for inspiration from Prabhupada. There was in those days there was a tape, a lecture of Prabhupada was playing in Prabhupada's house. And Prabhupada said, as soon as I walked in, you think the deity is made of stone? I looked at Prabhupada, I said, no, you're here, I believe it, but I want some personal instruction. So then I went to Prabhupada's house. And I thought, because every day they have a new letter on the desk. And I thought, okay, maybe the letter will say something to me. So I picked up the letter and I read it. And the letter of Prabhupada said, you are now one of my senior disciples, so I'm depending on you. You have learned the art of Krishna consciousness, and you should teach it purely for the benefit of others. So I said, okay. And I started, it was Vrindavan 1994. Women could not speak in VIH, it was only men's Bhakti Shastri. You were allowed to attend the Gita class, but you couldn't take any exams or get a degree or anything. So I was going to the Gita class. But then so I was living outside in one life member's house, and so I started teaching Bhagavad Gita. I said, oh no, I have to teach this. Prabhupada told me in my instruction. So then I started teaching, but then after about a few months, the chokidars, the guard said, this is a private house, you can't bring people here. You cannot bring people. So then I went to the roof of the guest house in Vrindavan, Krishna Balam guest house, and I was teaching there for 1 year, and then I got a place behind MBT where I still live there, and I taught there for 2 years. So after 3 years on my own, they started the ladies Bhakti Shastri in VIH in Vrindavan, and I was teaching there, and after one semester I started going in Europe in 1998. I don't know if I came here in that year. I was traveling 98, 99, and 2000. So one of those years, maybe 98 I came here, I don't remember. Yeah, Radhadesh. I was in Radhadesh, I was in Ireland for sure. I was in Russia and Ukraine. Russia, Ukraine, Belfast and Radhadesh. That I remember. I don't remember if I came here or not. Maybe.
I think so.
1998 it was turbulence in Sweden because
Harikesh.
Harikesh
Yeah,
left.
yeah, I know. There was turbulence everywhere I went in Europe. It was, at the Moscow Festival. And, it was a big turbulence. So I'm not sure. I might have come here 98 or 99, maybe 99, 2000.
Yeah, quite possible. Because the convention
Uh,
was going on from 95, I think.
mm-hmm.
And,
Yeah, it's possible. It is possible.
Probably 98.
Yeah,
But probably you came out 99.
maybe
Yeah.
99,
Yeah, something like that.
2000. So yeah, and then I stopped to teach Bhakti Vaibhava. I had to study, and then I started again 2009, traveling in Europe, and because I know I must have gone here already, and to be able to start again in 2009. So I must have gone in one of those years. My son was with me in those years. In not 98, 99, 2000, he was traveling with me. He was 12, 13 years old. He was with me. So
You
yeah,
remember
that,
that he was.
Huh?
You remember he was here.
Yeah, me too, I think I remember.
you remember my son? Yeah. So 99, 2000 probably. We were here. Yeah, he was traveling all over with me. So so what I learned from that, Prabhupada is still here. He will give you instruction and push you, just like, and when I first joined, I felt like I was hesitant to take the next step of joining the temple, but I got pushed by Prabhupada. He didn't even have to come. He just said I'm coming, and that was enough to push me to join. And now again he pushed me in 94 to actually start teaching. So what I learned is don't give up. We think, no, if I'm going to do this, I need this facility, I need money, I need a car, I need this. I didn't have anything. I just started to, just did it. Just do it. Just do it. So, yeah, I just did it. And so I'm here today. I'm still traveling, and it was very, very nice. And so, you have any questions here? If anybody has questions.
How old was your son when you were traveling with him?
My son was 12 in 99 and 13 in 2000.
Born 86. 87.
He's born in 87. He's born in 87. Now he's 37.
Like
Yes.
mine.
Your son? Yes.
It sounds like a miracle that you learned Bengali so quickly.
Yeah, it's a miracle.
Yeah, but maybe you have easy to learn new languages?
Well, I'll just tell you one thing. Well, I did take a Sanskrit class one time. It was like a 10-day class. Quick, learn to read, learn to speak Sanskrit. As soon as I sat in the Sanskrit class, I thought it's like deja vu. I said, I've been in this class for so many lives. I'm not going to do it in this life. I'm not going to do it.
You felt that you
I
were in
felt like
contact
I
with
felt
Sanskrit.
like I had already. I said, "Oh my God, I know this. I've been doing this for so many lives. Not this life, no. This life is different. I don't need, and you don't need. You just hear the synonyms, and you can learn many things.
You had it from past lives.
It could be. It could be. It seems that way. Then I had that remembrance that Sanskrit. Oh no, not again. I'm not going through this again. It takes 12 years, to. And I was, I don't know. I was probably in my 20s, but so I said, no, not this time. No more. No more Sanskrit. Yeah.
So we sing in the group with the Sri Guru Charanarati, they say attachment to the Lord speakers.
Attachment to lotus feet of Guru is perfection.
So that's for all of us because it's a group of Prabhupada.
Mm-hmm.
And say something more about, elaborate a little bit on what is so becoming attached to Prabhupada.
Becoming attached.
You're loyal and to Prabhupada and attached.
Attachment to
And
Prabhupada.
loyalty.
Yeah, faithfulness. Srila Prabhupada said the dog is the lowest of all animals, but he has one good quality. He's faithful to his master. So he said to us, if you're not faithful to your guru, you're lower than a dog. So, he has given us a promise that he will take us back to Godhead if we chant attentively 16 rounds every day and follow the 4 regulative principles. And he said that in a class, Dina Bandhu said that, and Jayapataka Maharaj said also 75%. So we have that guarantee if we follow Prabhupada. Another one devotee, she was, people come to Vrindavan to die. She was dying of MS, multiple sclerosis. But it took her 20 years to die.
Wow.
Yeah. So she was at MBT and she was like, sometimes she couldn't walk, sometimes she couldn't, sometimes she could. She was so weak she couldn't pick up her bead bag and chant. Very weak. But she was listening to lectures, not a Prabhupada disciple. I can't remember who was guru. Her was her guru. Not a Prabhupada disciple. And so then just before she left her body, she had a vision that she was walking on the path back to Godhead with Prabhupada walking with her. And on 2 sides of the path were people criticizing her. She didn't chant her rounds properly. She didn't chant 16 every day. She didn't hear attentively. She's a woman. She can't go. And they were criticizing on both sides. Now Prabhupada turned to those people and said, "It's all right. She's with me." That's what we need. We need to be with Prabhupada. He will take us if we follow his instructions. We're all related to Prabhupada. We might be his children, we might be his grandchildren, great-grandchildren, but we all have that relationship, and he will take care of all of us because we're his family. But don't leave his family. Don't leave ISKCON. Don't leave Prabhupada's protection and go to some other person. And that's very important. That we at least try our best in ISKCON and do what we can. Any other questions? Yes.
Sometimes we may think like we are getting some messages from either spiritual master or Srila Prabhupada, but how do we know? We may not be on that level to really get the real thing. How do we know it's really from Prabhupada for me?
How do you know if it's really from Prabhupada? You're getting messages. Check the books, check the devotees, Guru Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra, and that's the checks and balances. If it's in the books, good, then it's from Prabhupada. If it's what he says in the books, that means yes. And you consult devotees and see what they think, where your ideas are coming from. And that's another check. The Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Any other questions? Yes.
You mentioned, some of these people on the side of the road.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, she's a woman." So I remember that Srila Prabhupada once said to, I don't remember now who it was, that if you consider yourself be a woman, then
If you consider yourself to be a woman,
then you are a woman.
then you're in material consciousness.
Yes.
Yeah, there was another interesting comment. Let's see, where did I hear it? Vishaki, Jamuna, my god sister, had a lot of association with Prabhupada. And sometimes Prabhupada would, quote, women are less intelligent, what is it, Chanaka Pandit, don't trust a woman or politician. So he would look at Jamuna to see what her reaction would be. He said, yes, Prabhupada, yes, it's very true. I do have these qualities. So then Vishaka said to Jamuna, how can you agree with that? Why did you agree that Prabhupada said women don't trust a woman or politician? And Jamuna said, because half the population are women and the other half are politicians. That's why you can't trust any women or politicians. So that was her reasoning. Yeah, Gargamuni used to tell that to me when he was temple president in Calcutta. I said, that may be true, but I learned it all from you. I told him. He said, you're both women and politicians. Yeah, I learned it from you. So, yes.
Did you ever cook for Prabhupada?
No, I'm not a cook, no.
Okay.
I never did. I was always busy doing pujari, 20 hours. And we were in India, so the Indian ladies were the best cooks. So they were cooking. But I was doing all the artis and offerings and Tosi puja and garda work and dressing morning, night, doing the flowers, buying the flowers, decorating we had a lot of flowers. I used to change them 5 times a day. When Prabhupada would come, we had the Indians, they were expert, Indian ladies.
I suppose Yamuna Matadi also was your god
But she
sister.
wasn't there when I was there.
Okay.
But she was cooking in Vrindavan.
Is that
Well, we had the
still
Indian.
there? Is that temple you were in still there?
Same temple,
Yeah.
same place, exactly. The lake's across the street. Now they just renamed the lake. I can't remember what, Bhaktivedanta or something, special name for the lake across the street. They renamed it. The devotional name it has now, just yesterday or 2 days ago. Yeah.
I have a question, what's your advice to surrender to the Krishna more properly? Because it sounds from your story that you were pretty fast and quick to take actions, and it sounds very innocent, like when the Guru said something or you felt something, you didn't thought too much from your previous notions.
No, we didn't think at all. If the Guru said something, you just do it. Yeah, he said, go to India. Okay. We didn't think, how are we going to get there? What will we do in India? And we didn't think anything. Yeah, go to India. Okay, go. Innocent. We were very innocent. But we had so much faith in Prabhupada. That was our good thing. That was the gift that we had was this Guru Nishtha. We had faith in Prabhupada. And that's why we could do anything. We could do anything that he asked us to do. And he would empower us. It's also, like he did, help me to read Sanskrit, read Bengali, go to India, become a pujari. I wasn't planning on these things in my life. I didn't have plans to be a pujari in India or to travel around the world now like I'm doing. No plans. But it happened, and I'm amazed when I look back and think, wow, I cannot do those things that I did when I was young, but I'm still doing something for Prabhupada. Yeah.
Who taught you all this pujari, how to make
Yeah,
puja?
Who taught me puja?
Standards.
Kaushalya. There was another lady. Can't remember her name. There were some ladies from America who taught us how to do. Malati was there also. Malati, Kaushalya, and there was one more.
And who taught, was it Prabhupada that taught them?
Yeah,
Or where-
Prabhupada taught Yamuna.
Okay.
Jamuna.
Mm.
So we didn't have all these mudras.
Mm.
We didn't, no. It was very simple worship. No mantras like come and eat, you know. We didn't have those. Sit down here. No what is that? Pada and all that thing you give. We didn't have those. We just had one thing when I was dressing the deities. From beginning to end, I chanted the Govindam prayers, the whole Govindam prayers. While bathing, dressing, undressing, everything, that was what I had, the mantra I had.
Govinda
Adi Purusha.
Mantra.
From the beginning to the end. You know, those prayers, that's the mantras we had. And they're still using those mantras in Abhishek now. And yeah, it was, and the offering process was the way Prabhupada taught us: first Guru, then Gauranga, and then Krishna, just like the prayers. Prayers for offering, Guru, Gauranga, Krishna, and Arti same, Guru, Gauranga, Krishna. Now they made it backwards, Krishna, Gauranga, Guru. So I don't know what's, it's different. Yes.
Is this inauspicious or auspicious when you chant and the deities drop something to make some commotion?
Is it auspicious or inauspicious if the deities drop something? Well, according to Jananivas, it's auspicious. Because, I mean, I'm not sure if they drop an earring, but if they drop a flower, it's auspicious. If they drop an earring, it may not be so good. But
Because I was chanting one day in New Radhakund, January, and suddenly I was alone and Krishna's big flute fell on the floor.
the flute fell.
Big noise.
A big
Oh
noise.
my God.
And maybe, were you falling asleep?
No.
Okay.
So I went to the pujar and said, hey, Krishna dropped his flute. So they were all really wow.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the flute dropping, but the flower dropping, yes. One time, one couple came to Nishingadev in Mayapur, Bengali couple, and so when the pujari was offering puja, a flower dropped, and then he went, Pangajangi asked, was anybody offering a prayer right now? And this couple said yes. We didn't have a child. We've been trying for 10 years or 4 or 5 years, and we didn't get a child. And so Prangajagi said, okay, take this flower, put it in water, and have your wife drink this water. Next year they came, they had a baby boy. That's a, yeah. So yeah, it can be good. Flute.
Sometimes
Yeah.
something falls when some truth has been spoken.
Okay. And choose
Profound truth. And then
the
falls.
okay, the flower may fall or the
It's like, yeah, it can be an earring.
Well,
Like-
anything-
like a confirmation. Yes,
something
this
falls
is-
if it's a confirmation. Okay, Elijah, what you had?
Yeah, just a question about Srila Prabhupada. Sometimes devotees, they have this very like mystical or magical experience of Srila Prabhupada. How your faith just grew to such a strong extent? Like, did you feel some very special energy from Prabhupada? Can you describe something about that? How you experienced Srila Prabhupada?
No, I don't. I told my experience. You know, I read the letter. He said, "Go and teach." You know, that was my experience. When I read that letter, I said, "Yes, this is my experience with Prabhupada. I don't feel like some mystic, anything like that."
But in his presence, like did you feel something?
Oh, in his presence, yeah. His presence, protection, security. Yeah, when I was following him at the airport. When I first saw him, I thought I can follow him the rest of my life. I felt this is where I belong. I feel protected. I feel secure, and this is who I am. I'm Prabhupada's follower. That's my identity. That's who I am. Finally, after wandering the whole of my life up to the age of, well, I was 22 then, 22. So finally, I know where I belong and who I am and what I have to do. And that was the feeling I got when I was with him. Of course, also, I was trying to figure out, like on morning walk, you He was walking so fast. And he was 75 and I was 25. And I was trying to figure out, how does he walk so fast? And then we were watching him when he was giving class. And it's like a whole drama. And he would just, it was very, that was mystical when you were in class if you didn't fall asleep. And just watching him move, it was very, that was, you know, and I could never figure out, then I understood, oh, you can, only by devotional service and devotion can you understand these things. Okay, now, Pablo, you have your hand up?
Yeah, what is the most attractive quality of Prabhupada for you?
Most attractive quality was his concern for us, that he knew it was austere, and he would mention it in class. And in class he said, I know you're not even getting milk to drink, because at that time in Calcutta, all the milk, all the ghee was contaminated. It was all contaminated. It was all kind of things. Even non-veg, I think, was in the ghee. So then the Australian devotees brought a whole bunch of ghee to India, and Gargamuni bought it. He bought all of it, and so we had ghee, and he would sell it to the life members to make them life members. You know, if you become a life member, you get this pure ghee from Australia. Yeah, anyway. Yeah. Okay. Anything? Yes.
In your long time, you might have seen many people coming and going in the path of bhakti.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what do you think? Like, what it takes for one to stay in this path? And because many people come and they leave.
Many people come and go. What does it take to stay? Well, I can quote for you Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. He gives 4 reasons why people leave, why they don't stay. So this is what you have to be careful about. The first thing is making offenses to other devotees. If you do that, then the reaction can be that you leave and you're not with the devotees. Second thing is lack of humility. If you're very proud, you think I'm the best devotee, and you give trouble to other devotees, that could be another reason why you might have to leave. Third thing is lack of good association. If you think I can do it myself, you live outside, yeah, I'm a good devotee, I don't need to associate. That could be another reason why you leave. And the fourth reason is ignorance about the spiritual path. And that means you don't know what you were going to go through on the way on the spiritual path. So first thing is you have little faith, associate with devotees, you practice rules and regulations, chant Hare Krishna, and then comes the level called Anartha Vritti, and that's the level when you're struggling and doubts come and you think, oh, maybe it's the wrong path, I should go to another group, I should not stay here. Doubts come, or you may think, okay, some of my godbrothers, godsisters, they went through this when they became like 40s and 50s years old. They thought, okay, I gave my youth, but it's not too late, I can still enjoy. And get married again, or at the age of 40, 50. And they did do that. And they thought, oh yeah, it's not too late. I know, I did sacrifice, we all sacrificed our youth to push this movement. So that's another thing, ignorance, that you will be tested. Your doubts will come, and temptations will come, and these things will come, and you will have to be able to pass that test. And so that's an arch in Vritti. Even other religions, they go through the same path. Mother Teresa, she was in Calcutta, thousands came to her funeral, and she was praised as a saintly person, and she sacrificed a lot for poor people, sick people. She had hospitals that were cheap, and that's where I gave birth to my son in Bombay, in one of her hospitals in Bombay. So then, because we didn't have lots of money. So, she was very famous as being saintly. So then a few months after she died, one American magazine, I think the name was Newsweek or Times, something like that, they got a hold of her diary. And they were publishing parts of it and saying she had some doubts. And so that means she's not a saint. So I said, no, she went through an art university, looks like to me, that what we go through too. We get tested. And we get tested, doubts come, we get tested. And so, it's not only we are on this path, others are, sincere people are on the path too in other religions. Those who are sincere. And they will appreciate the devotees if they're sincere. Yeah, okay. Any other? Yes.
What gave you power in the tough times when?
What gave me power in the tough times? Well, I went to the morning program every day for 54 years, pretty much. Unless I stay in a place where I'm far away from the temple. But I still get up and chant, even if I don't go to Mangalarti at 4:30. I get up at 3:30 and chant, or 4 o'clock and chant. So morning program, reading the books every day. So chanting my japa, reading the books, and trying to share with others what I have read. And so these things will help you in the tough times. I consulted when I was being tested, let's say. I consulted the books. I prayed to the deities. I prayed to Prabhupada. I prayed to the holy name. I chanted. And sometimes when I was having a really big problem, I would chant a lot more rounds, 32 rounds a day for some time instead of 16. I would chant more, and it really pacifies you and helps you. So I took shelter of the holy name, the books, the deities, Prabhupada, and the devotees. I consulted them. When I was in trouble, I didn't keep to myself, but I said, like I'm the best devotee, I shouldn't be having this problem. No, I consulted others and asked them for their advice, what I should do. You have to keep yourself in association. You have to consult with devotees, consult with Krishna, consult with Prabhupada, and keep on doing your service. Like yesterday I was saying, there's a verse, Tatenu kampam susamikshmano, that you hope against hope, Krishna will give you mercy, and secondly, you tolerate the reactions. And third, you keep on serving body, mind, and words. Don't give up your service. And then you're qualified. You're eligible to inherit the kingdom of God. Go back to the spiritual world. You can't be alone. You can't do it alone. That's number one. When you're in difficulty, don't think, I'm strong, I'm a great devotee, I can do this. It won't work. You have to get help from everyone. Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, and holy name, deities. These things. You can't do it alone. But you do have to have the determination not to give up. That you have to do. You have to have that determination. No, it doesn't matter. I'm not giving up. I'm going to keep going. Sometimes people look at you and think, oh my God, this is hopeless. But I look at them and I say, no, it's not hopeless. People were telling me, it's going to take another 10 years. I said, this year, the year I initiated, people were telling me, it's going to take so many years. I didn't say anything, but I looked at them and I was thinking, no, it's going to happen. No, now is the time. I didn't, that kind of advice I didn't take. The negative advice I didn't listen to. The positive advice I'll listen. Okay, I think we'll stop here. It's getting pretty late. Hare Krishna. Glory to Prabhupada.
For grace, Narayani Mataji ki
Jai. Shri Prabhupada ki
Jai.